more matcha. There's not
You want some coffee?
Move it off the table, though.
Oh, here.
Hey, everybody, we are live on the Owwll podcast, episode number 50. So we have a special guest for you for 50. Who is that, Danielle? You know our guest today?
Yes, I do. Sydney Lich, right?
Yes.
Woo, I got it right.
So
I made her do it, so I didn't make any mistakes. But this has been fantastic. Danielle is my co-host of this show, and it's just been a phenomenal run running a podcast and getting to 50 episodes already. You know, we combine this with the Shrimp Tank podcast. We now have over 300 episodes, and Owwll is just doing some phenomenal things right now. I mean, I see my DMs right now, and people are having such good experiences collaborating through the platform. So, Sydney, welcome to the Owwll podcast. We're excited. You just became an expert today, and you're going to get your first chance to have people really communicate with you on the platform. So, but before we get into the Owwll app, let's talk about your background. As an entrepreneur, you're a co-founder of a platform. So tell us a little bit about your business.
Yeah, well, first off, I'm so excited to be here. It's so great in this space. I love the feel in here. It's amazing.
Thank you.
It's amazing. You guys have really created something special. So yeah, a little background on myself. I actually got started in entrepreneurship and network marketing. And I was 22 years old, living out in Montana, decided I wanted to move to California for some more opportunity, had about $50 left in my name, and moved across the country, booked a one-way ticket, and never really looked back. And I started to really learn through network marketing, like risk-free entrepreneurship, where I could fail, and keep standing back up again, and had a team behind me, was able to build a pretty massive company of 7,000 people, different sales reps all over different countries, and then essentially moved into the venture that I'm in now, which is more of a sales coaching and recruiting agency. And that's what we're doing now. It's really, really incredible. It's called PRISM, and just started that about a year ago.
Can you explain to our audience what is network marketing? I know not everybody really understands it. I understand it quite well. One of the fellows that's on Owwll is Ray Higgin, and he's known as one of the top 3, I believe, network marketing coaches. So I know all about it. I went to his conference one year, but a lot of people don't know what network marketing is, and the entry, how easy it is to get involved with some of these companies. So share with our audience what it really means to be a network marketer.
Yeah, so network marketing is, again, very low barrier to entry. So you can join a company for $150, $200 and have very low risk. And so I think that for people who don't know network marketing, it's essentially like every other company that's out there, right? You have yourself, everything starts with you. And then from there, you're enrolling people into a vision, into a product, into a service that you really love. But what a lot of people don't know is a lot of the famous people now, like Ed Milet and Brad Lee, they all started in network marketing. That's where they made their money. And so it's a really great way to get your foot in the door of entrepreneurship, again, with the low risk. So it was amazing for me. Such great community building opportunities to be on stage, things like that. So it taught me a lot. It taught me all the hard skills of business that I needed to figure out before I got into like the big leagues.
Well, we are similar. My first job while in college was Cutco knives.
Oh my God.
I think everyone
we all read that article. You did it too, Danielle?
I didn't do it. It was mostly the guys that did that. But I feel like all my high school guy friends would be like, "Can I come to your house and like sell your mom these knives?"
They still work those.
Yeah.
I remember those days. It was like there was this big ad. They went by a different brand. You went in to a meeting and you were like so pumped up to get the job, and then all of a sudden you walked in and there's like 500 people in an auditorium, and you're like, oh my God, like this is not what I thought.
The bait and switch. Yeah.
Yes, and then you start learning those skills to sell. But I got to give them credit. It was genius. Calling your parents, your friend's parents was phenomenal tactic to be like, hey, this isn't about the money. It's just I have to learn. And then all of a sudden, like at the end, you're like, they just wrote you a check for $1,000, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. You walked away with a few $100 from each sale.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and the thing of network marketing that a lot of people don't understand is if you treat it like a business, it will pay you like a business, right? Just like real estate, just like anything else, the top 1% make the money because that's where the top 1% are doing the work, right? So
that's true.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about PRISM, like how, like when you say, okay, you do sales training, exactly, like what is it, a network marketing company? Like give me more details about that.
No, it's not network marketing. So PRISM was started by me and a couple founders. And really what happened was I had recruited over 1,100 people in my past experience. And I met a business partner who was really masterful in high ticket sales. So basically selling, services, products for over about $6,000. And so we partnered up, both of us were looking for something new. And I really wanted to influence the next generation of young people through like sales and selling and entrepreneurship, and showing them that no matter what, they have control of their financial future and of their income, and if they learn sales. And so we really partnered together and created PRISM, where again, we recruit sales reps for 7 and 8 figure companies. We place them in, train them, and then basically like have them up and running to
Got
generate
it.
revenue for the
Okay.
company.
So essentially it's like a recruiting and training company in
100%.
sales.
Yes.
And then in terms of, do people have to pay you guys to get this training, or do you like pay them? Like, does the company give you a percentage? Like, how does that all work?
Great question. So we do not take any money from the sales reps. Essentially, our contracts are between us and the business owners that are
Mhm.
looking for the talent. So we basically supply the talent, the company pays us,
Mhm.
and then we train them for free.
Nice.
Mhm.
Sounds like
Yeah.
a good deal. Any people out there looking for
is.
Well,
for a
that's
new
huge
job?
because many businesses are lacking sales individuals,
Yeah.
right? It's so hard today. Most
High turnover.
most people joining careers right now that are out of colleges don't want to be in sales. You say the word sales, like not for me,
Mhm.
and then people like you and I are like, that's not possible. Like you have to sell yourself at all times. Like
Mhm.
that is business. You have to
Every
network.
business is sale. Like people
Everything-
think, they don't realize that when they get into business, like they're gonna.
Everything anybody's doing at all times is selling yourself on yourself.
Mhm.
That's all we're doing.
And I'll use Danielle as an example, right? Musicians, right?
Yes.
Right. Often they're like, well, I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm not in sales. I'm like, yes, you are. Right.
Mhm.
You have to get yourself out there. You got to get gigs. And Danielle does an excellent job.
She does.
She communicates
Mhm.
with so many individuals. She sees around the corner. She sees I have to build a connection and then get on a phone call with them and then make an opportunity happen.
Right.
Right. And a lot of musicians just don't have that entrepreneurial skill set. And then they can't ever, unless they're extremely talented, they can't make it.
Well, they just, I think the expectations,
Yeah.
like they don't realize, you don't realize, this is why I'm like, call me on Owwll, guys. I had someone call me and say, hey, I'm looking to get out of my current job and become a musician. And I was like, because it seems like easier. And I was like,
Way harder.
hold on, let me just like explain what this is about. And then, yeah, so call me on Owwll if you have questions about that. But yeah, most musicians think like, oh, I'm good at I'm talented, so that means that like I'm set, and it has nothing.
Yeah.
A lot of it has nothing to do with talent.
Yeah.
It's all about connections and hustling, and yeah. So
A lot of people that are joining the entrepreneurial space right now, they're artists or they're passionate about a certain thing, right? Like making birdhouses, like whatever it
Mhm.
is you were passionate about, like they're passionate about that. They're not necessarily passionate about entrepreneurship. And so you have to really learn the skills of entrepreneurship, pair them with your skill set,
Mhm.
and then you can do something with it. But, if you're just trying to get into something out of luck,
Mhm.
singing, for example, you're not going to do it just by accident. You got to
Yeah.
learn the skills, the hard skills. And the first one is sales,
Mhm.
So give
Yeah.
us some real examples, right? I've been a sales guy my whole life. Everyone knows that. I started in New York City
Ah.
with not much money to my name,
Yeah.
right? I joined more the insurance world first.
Yep.
First company was John Hancock Financial Network,
Mhm.
and I sold life insurance products. I went through that whole model of like
Yes.
find 10 people to sit with, 3 of them eventually,
Sure.
will do something with you probably, and maybe one will go through, right?
Mhm.
Because a lot of times you get cancellations. And then eventually I became a financial advisor. 99% of financial advisors fail in their 20s. That's the statistic.
Makes sense.
Unfortunately, the hardest thing is just getting people to sit down with you, right? It's not that you don't have the knowledge to help them out. It's not that you're not analytical and you can't prove to them, a better way to handle their money, but most people just can't get people to sit down with them, right? So you teach that.
Yes.
So share with us some real examples of some of the training you teach, like how to get in front of people, because leads is always the issue,
Yeah.
right? Everyone could eventually sell more pens if they have more
Mhm.
appointments,
Yep.
more owls over here if they have a better website, better conversions. But it all starts with usually human conversations. So give us some real examples.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just for context, I always like to share this because it is a numbers game, right? People
Yeah.
are not numbers in sales, and it is a numbers game. So when I started in network marketing, I had never sold shit in my life. I don't know if I can.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have never
you're good.
sold shit. Never sold shit in my life. And 22 years old, knew no one in California. And in the next 5 years, I proceeded to have 12,000 conversations. And of those 12,000 conversations, I got 10,900 no's. Right?
Mhm.
It's like people don't see that you have to talk to a lot of people. You have to have so many
Yeah.
at bats just to get the freaking skill set down to be able to know what to say and how to say. Once you do, you can sell anything. And so, I mean, I did a lot of networking, just like yourself, sharing with me before the show. It's like going and putting yourself in positions where you're around people, because you're not going to find these people sitting at home watching the Kardashians on a Friday, right?
Mhm.
It's like you have to get out in the world. I would prospect people at coffee shops when I was in network marketing. It was like anywhere and
Yeah.
people are everywhere, the grocery store. But what I learned is how to connect with people immediately, instantly, and gain trust through a compliment, through a genuine compliment, or
Yeah.
through, some sort of connection. And that's the starting point. Is, can you genuinely reach out, start a conversation with someone without being weird because you need anything from them, and
Mhm.
truly just focus on showing up. And if this person has a problem I can solve, then
Yes.
I solve that problem. And if not, all good, we can stay friends. That's how I approach it.
No, you bring up some great points because so often everyone just goes right for the sale,
Mhm.
right? And then they
I've done that in the
feel
past.
defeated so much. But often we all a sales breath. When you're young, you have no money, you learn it, the process, the product, and you're like, everyone's gonna love these pens right here. But then eventually they're like, people don't even want to listen to you. So
Yeah.
you have to get better at just naturally having icebreakers and just having a genuine conversation, ask questions that are open-ended.
Mhm.
And then eventually people tell you a little bit about themselves, and then you sneak in at the right time, of
Yes.
course. How do you do it for the modern day person on LinkedIn, on TikTok, on Instagram? Right. I know Danielle is big with voice notes,
Mhm.
right?
Yes,
Some
me
people
too.
do video messages,
Yeah.
and the bad sales reps
Mhm.
automate everything. It's just a typical, you should buy my
Blast.
product. And most business owners like myself just go next, or
Mhm.
I auto message them right back to download Owwll
Yes.
if they want to speak
Yes.
with me. And it's interesting to see them respond like, how dare you ask me to pay to speak with you? I'm like, you
You want my
prospected
time?
me.
Yeah.
You want my time. Slow down.
Yes.
So I guess, like, how do you do it on social media?
I mean, I've done a lot of wrong things. I think
Yep.
that, in the beginning, I go back to some of my messages I sent in the beginning when I was like, it's like
Me
so
too. Me too.
cringy.
We
And I
all
always
have.
say, if you're in the blue, you're no good. Like, if you can scroll back and all you see is your side of the text chain, and it's like you sending that, it's no good. It's like bad dating. And so I always treat it like dating. It's like,
Yeah.
connect with someone, see if you have common interests. If you have common interests, hey, let's connect. I'd love to connect without an agenda. It's like, the issue, I think, isn't that people are doing it wrong or approaching this in a wrong way. It's they don't have a long-term mindset. Where it's like, if your intention is just to build your network and whatever comes from that, you're never going to be in a rush to sell this person. And I honestly know that can be really hard to hear when you're like, but I don't know where my
Yeah.
next rent check is coming from. I get it. I lived on very little money for a very, 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 very long time, and it's extremely difficult. But if you can get over that and realize this is the long game, and you're going to be in this game for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, then it changes your mindset. But a lot of people, it's all that mindset. And a lot of people can't get that. They don't truly grasp that. And I think that's the issue. Is once you can grasp that, it changes how you approach people on social media. So I like to connect and just say, like, hey, I feel like I could add value in this way. If you'd like to connect, would love to. And some people are yes, some people are no. But the more you do it, the more you're able to like see things they're
Yeah.
doing. If you're into music, I'm not going to message you about dogs. It's like, I'm going to
Mhm.
message you about music, see if I can add value in that area, and then, hey, let's connect.
Or like I love, even for me, I I was getting like banned on on Instagram, like literally recently, because I was like, oh, like I would send people DMs,
Yes.
right? Which were like normal, like I saw you like this, blah blah blah. But then in the comments, I'd be like, sent you a DM, like like on
Yes.
their photo, and then Instagram was like banned, like
Really?
which they just recently
I
started
used
doing
to do that
this.
like crazy when I
Yeah,
first,
just because people don't know that you send them a DM because it's
yes,
in the
hidden.
hidden right, and so they ban you now. So
They're really
now I
funny
have to
now.
go, "Hey, you look so pretty in this picture. Check your DM." Like,
Oh,
like it's you have to add more context to it now.
that's hilarious. I
Yeah.
did not know that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried everything. I've tried all sorts of things.
What's your platform of choice?
Well, where I have been on the longest and been the most consistent is Instagram, but I love LinkedIn, and I really love LinkedIn because I do all my recruiting there. And so I get to connect with a ton of high-level people there. But Instagram it's
Mhm.
fun, but it's so addicting. I gotta
I
delete it every day to
know.
get off of it and build my business,
Is it addicting because it's so easy to you now? Like, you just have a
Oh,
proven process where, like, you get meetings like that, you get on podcasts like that.
yeah, yeah, 100%. And it's you get in the scroll hole if you're not careful. So it's like that's the biggest thing too for business owners. Is like, if you feel like you're building your business but you're on social media all day, unless you're a podcast booker or you're like
Right.
real, get off of social media, go build your actual business. Because I found that it got to the point where I was in the DM so much that I was just like diluting my effectiveness,
Mhm.
you know? Yeah.
And then in the DMs, is it voice notes, videos, or just straight text?
I love voice note.
Voice note.
But with higher quality, higher caliber people, you got to do a quick text because they're busy. I don't have
They're
time.
not going to listen to.
If
Yeah.
someone sends me a 2-minute long, I'm like, I don't have time for this.
I know.
So send me a quick blurb of why I should listen to you, what you have to offer. Be straight up,
I love LinkedIn. Instagram, I run into the issue she's talking about. Like, I can never get to their real inbox.
Right. Yes.
So the benefit of LinkedIn is you could add a message on the connection request, but you could engage with public posts.
Right.
So if you're
Right.
engaging on a public post, it's very likely they're going to accept your connection request, and then eventually you can message them and say, "Hey, I loved your post about X, Y, or Z."
Yep.
And then just not sell them. You're just
Right.
engaging.
You're engaged.
And then eventually, I always go the back door. I always say, "Hey, come on my podcast."
Yes. Yes.
I would say of the 300 plus episodes we've had, I've gotten a little secret. About 150 of our best guests have come right through direct
Amazing.
messages. This
Okay.
week we were at a LinkedIn local with Heather Monahan, and I was going to say I didn't get the microphone past me, and we were talking about LinkedIn methods and tricks. And she was up on stage, and I was going to tell everyone, "Hey, I actually landed Heather as I think she was episode 50. Kind of
Wow.
funny. Through a cold turkey DM.
Yep.
Right. I
Yep.
just said, "Hey, would love to have you. Students at FEU would love to listen to your backstory." She was fired, and it worked perfect. She responded because it was genuine.
Yep.
I was leading by giving, not by selling.
Yes.
And too often everyone wants something like, "Hey, I'd love to partner with you and take your money and be a sponsor on my show." It's like, no, it's like we're just offering value first. And then when you do it that way, you could build better relationships.
But that's that long-term mindset again, right? You're not trying to get anything. And I feel like the biggest success I've ever had with the more successful people is those really custom messages of like, I read this book from you and it changed my life in this way. And you're adding value even just by sharing, how they've impacted you. But LinkedIn versus Instagram as well. If you guys are looking for higher quality leads or whatever, it's Instagram. The average income on there is like $35,000 a year. The average income on LinkedIn is like 120. So it depends also on who you're looking for when you're prospecting. It's like you're probably going to find higher caliber people on a platform like LinkedIn.
Yeah, and you could tell if they're active on the platform. You could see if they're liking things and they're posting. I think under 1% of people post on LinkedIn.
I know, it's
so
crazy.
You could get in there and if they're posting,
fast.
right away they're going to listen to the messages that are coming over, and then if they pay for it, like LinkedIn Navigator, and they have a premium, it's like $100 a month.
Yeah,
they're taking it very serious. So I'm a big fan of it. And
That's
CEOs, typically it's them on that platform.
Oh yeah,
they're Instagram. It's not the case.
Yeah.
Like we partnered with Celsius with the 26-hour podcast we did here, actually 25-hour podcast. But ready for this? Like he doesn't mess around on Instagram. Like if you DM Celsius on their main account, like good luck getting through the CEO. But you go to his LinkedIn account, like I don't know what he has, 5,000 followers on LinkedIn, something like that. But like it's him.
Yeah.
You have a good chance that he'll respond back to you.
It's a great point.
With a message. But everyone always shoots to go to Instagram to get in touch with these CEOs.
Very true.
Yeah.
CEOs and COOs, especially on LinkedIn. We've connected with so many sales team leaders and COOs of really big companies through LinkedIn. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So Danielle, I think it's time. Let's get some people on Owwll. Let's give Sydney the experience.
Yeah.
So we're going to do now for everyone listening. Today, we're not taking inbound calls. We're going to make some outbound calls. We're going to switch it up. So if you're out there, go live on Owwll. You have to be priced at a few dollars. We're not calling anyone for $100 right now. And Danielle's going to call you, and you're going to be patched in, and you get to ask Sydney any questions about what we've been talking about. So Sydney, on Owwll, the coolest part is, and you're going to love it because you're talking about like all these no's,
so
right? You just call people that are active, and then what happens is you can network with them. You could collaborate. You get on podcasts. We have over 300 podcasters inside the app.
Oh, cool.
And someone like you value time so much. It's like you're driving back down to Miami, right? You have an hour to spare. Call some people. Don't wait for them to call you.
Yes.
See, that's the issue too with a lot of marketing. Everyone's like, well, no one's reaching out after I post.
It's post.
It's
and
like
play.
it's
Post
like,
and
come
play.
on. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm in the DMs all day.
Yes.
Right.
Well,
I'm on offense.
100%. That's what I always teach a lot of the women that I coach in. Funny enough, like the spray tan industry.
Yeah.
I'm always like, you post and pray. You're just like praying that someone's going to respond to you. You have to go and find. You have to be proactive. You have to be proactive, especially nowadays on social media.
Yeah. It's interesting where I also see the opposite. Like people are posting, getting a lot of engagement.
And
they're getting a lot of messages. They don't do anything.
I know.
And I asked them, I go, what do you do with all these messages?
You monetizing that?
And it's actually interesting. We did a market validation survey for Owwll. We were part of the FAU Tech Way forced to like 25 different people. And I would ask everyone with a decent sized following, like, what do you do? And it would always be that they were really good at filtering them themselves and sending like, a calendar invite
Yes.
and then getting
Hi.
some.
Hi, Jen. How are you?
So good, so good. How are you?
Good. So you are actually live on the Owwll podcast right now.
That's so exciting.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Woo!
And we have a sales guru with us, Sydney Lich here. And I've talked to Jen on the app before, and I know that she does real estate and coaching, a bunch of other things as well. So do you, I guess, who do we want? Do you have a question for
Ooh.
Jen?
For real estate. Well, how'd you get into real estate, first of all?
I got in 2012. I had started as an entrepreneur to open a birth and wellness center in Riverside, California.
Amazing.
The market tanked. We moved to Hawaii. I went to open the birth and wellness center in Hawaii, and the red tape was it was too much. So I threw in the towel. My friends were like, "You should be a realtor." And I was like, "Okay, I'm going to be a realtor." So I got into it, went to a fateful trip in India after moving back to California, and then was told by, like this, I think I told you this, Danielle, but I went to India with the founder of Owwll Boots, Brian Smith.
Wow.
We were having a conversation about money one night, and he was like, I just kind of reflected something back to him. He's like, "You should be a coach," because it was around money. And he had actually sold Owwll and kind of lost everything financially. And so I just reflected something back about money and his unconscious connection to it. So I got into coaching. Fast forward, bought my current project, and then merged coaching and real estate.
Wow, that's amazing. That's awesome. How did you get on the Owwll app?
Miss Chela Diaz, the extraordinary woman.
She's a
that she
brand
is.
ambassador with us,
Oh,
which I'll tell you more about later
Yeah.
because I know you'll be into it.
Yeah, of
And
course.
sales,
But
like sales, I love sales.
You do.
Yeah. What kind of sales are you in?
So I actually own a recruiting and sales placement agency, but we work with a lot of entrepreneurs as well. So real estate agents, spray tan artists, beauty professionals, things like that to help them sell more. So we kind of customize for what we're doing, but the majority of what we do is we recruit and train sales reps for companies.
Oh, that's amazing. I wish I would have known about you like 10 years ago.
What were you doing 10 years ago?
Not selling.
Not selling good enough is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
No,
You
not
stumbled a
selling
little
well
bit,
enough.
it sounds
Yeah,
like.
exactly.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I love
A
your
little bit.
story.
That's entrepreneurship 101.
Jen, it's Jason. Can you share with our
Yeah.
audience what struggles
Okay.
you went through those early years? Because a lot of sales professionals I find
Mm.
look back at like that first year and they're like, "Oh my God, like I was terrible."
Cringe.
The messages I sent, the phone calls, the voice messages. Like tell our audience what you went through and how you developed since.
So, I mean, it's still, every day is like a new day. And I would say probably not believing or trusting in myself. And in hindsight going, I was pretty great agent, always relying on other people. And what I've found to be common is that a lot of entrepreneurs on social media are like, "Look at my life, it's so great." And then, as a coach, like you have these intimate relationships with people and you find out, wait, you have 45,000 followers and you're not making any money. You're actually like way crazy in debt. And so, I mean, it's kind of like,
Wait a
I
second,
don't know.
Jen.
The
Follower
struggle was-
account and bank account size don't equal. I never knew that.
Isn't that insane? I find that to
Yeah,
be
well,
so
and Jason,
crazy.
you probably can relate. Like you're the founder of a company, and there are probably things that people assume about you, right? Where you're like, well, no, this is going on back here, right? And
Oh,
it's
of
like,
course.
and even when you start to like make money and you have assets and everything, you're still looking to make more and create more. And it's like, if you look back at where you were 10 years ago, you're like, I was okay. Now I'm well, and I still am thinking it's not enough. So I think it's just trying to be present and like grateful for where we are.
Such a good
Definitely.
point.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, thank you so much, Jen. Everybody, you can call Jen Narragan on the Owwll app and ask her any questions, coaching, real estate, and life. I mean, her and I have talked about life before. So, anyway.
Jen, we will send you your clip. So the coolest thing is we're getting crystal clear audio recorded during these episodes. So we will send that over later tomorrow. And everybody who gets a call in, that's the benefit of this platform.
Because we are going to start.
Yes.
Yes, because we're going to start posting on our social media platforms to spread the word about Owwll as of yesterday's conversation.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank
Thanks
you.
you guys for calling. So good to talk to you.
So good
You
to talk to
too.
you.
All right.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay, Sydney, how cool was that?
I'm obsessed with this.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
And then you
So
can
cool.
rate at the end of the call. You
It's
can
amazing.
we're going to give her 5 stars.
Well, you know, it was funny because I was just sharing with her before we jumped on. I'm like, I love how it's so accessible and searchable with the filters. Like, I was just looking for a recruiter for a very specific role yesterday, and I'm like, I don't know where to go to find a recruiter. And now it's like, oh, I can just go there and check it out, see who's on there, and jump on with them without having to DM them, wait for their response. You just
so someone in your shoes, you're gonna love it because you struggle so much those early years, and you know how hard it is to get a good qualified lead. And we're sitting there like putting qualified people on the platform every single day.
Yeah.
I just approved an expert that was a former NFL athlete, for example. Another one owned a drink company. I think my wife just shared it with me from Target. I think it's the founder and like these like aluminum bottles with like different seltzers in them. And it's just phenomenal that these experts are coming out in the platform at $1 because you can't change your price until you receive 10 phone calls.
You get access.
We do that as a learning lesson. So with the early adopters that are coming in, and you're going to understand it in 2 seconds, you're like, this is a no-brainer. I'm going to follow every single new expert.
Yes.
We love people like you on our app
because it's just opportunities.
We get like people, no one's calling me. Well, you need to reach out to other people first, and then everyone on the platform will get to know you and then refer, hey, Sydney is great at sales. If you need help with that, you should reach out to her. Hear about like that's, you know, you kind of have to make a name for yourself. And
just
so
like any social media platform, but it feels like a very healthy social media. It's not incentivizing the wrong behavior. It's incentivizing very positive, like supportive behavior in the industries.
Definitely.
That's so cool.
And, you know, I think so far Jason approves everybody that we have on the app. So like, you know, it's not just anyone can join. We vet people to make sure they're like legitimate. So, you know, you're getting high quality business professionals like on a LinkedIn situation.
What are some of the more random arenas that you guys have on the app of like musicians?
Hello, Dr. Serena.
Yes.
Hi, this is actually Jason Hill, the founder of Owwll with Danielle Santilli. You're actually live on the Owwll podcast right now. Are you okay being recorded?
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Okay.
All good.
So for our audience listening, because we called you, can you tell everyone in about 30 seconds a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure. So my name is Dr. Serena Goldstein, and I'm a naturopathic doctor where I work significantly with weight, hormones, gut, mood, and thyroid. So this is where we get to look at all the modalities of natural medicine, like herbs and nutrition, take a look into the conventional medical side of things like labs and imaging, and even go through some pharmaceutical type counseling. And then from my own passion and background with psychology and some spirituality, we really get to take a deep dive into the deeper meaning of symptoms and even correlate them to your everyday life to create a long-term plan that patients find fun and exciting.
Wow. That's amazing.
How cool is it? See what I'm saying? You're getting asked to a doctor for $1, for $3. She's $3. But like, isn't that crazy?
Do you do this is random, but do you do like muscle testing or anything like that?
So I don't. So that's actually more in the applied kinesiology realm, which is a whole other type of certification.
That is so cool though. I love the gut health space. I had a lot of gut health issues after competing in bodybuilding, and it was so supportive to be able to heal that. So I love the work you're doing. That's incredible.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. Wait, where are you based out of?
So I'm currently in Delray Beach, so South Florida.
Oh, she's
amazing.
However, right? Yeah.
Do you do virtual sessions?
It's a whole to do down here.
Yeah, you could literally come to the studio right now.
Yeah,
you're like 10 minutes away. If you get here in 10 minutes, you could be in the video.
That's amazing. Do you do virtual sessions or is it all in person practice?
I do. So I actually began my practice almost 9 years ago so I'm originally from New York.
Oh.
And so interestingly, how you said bodybuilding is I was a competitive gymnast.
Wow.
So I definitely understand, yes, where it's the healing, but it's also just even wrapping our head around health, that it's more than just doing. We
100%.
also need to understand and process what we're up to.
Right.
So I had my practice there for about 6 years. And then just long time coming, I decided to move out to San Francisco in California.
Mm.
So I was able to do a bit more for people. That's where I really got to explore some of the spiritual side of things and see, oh, wait, medicine is more than just a pill for an ill, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then just after taking another overall look at my life and see, okay, where's the next step? Where can I head over next? Well, I had an opportunity to move down to South Florida. And sure enough, being Jewish, I have lots of family down here as well. But the wellness community too has grown significantly. So in addition to seeing people in person, which I have, I've also been set up even from the get-go to see people virtually.
Yeah.
And I have an online dispensary and everything is all set up that way.
That's amazing. Yeah, I feel like South Florida definitely has a really
Thank
strong
you.
like health community, but also very, like you said, spiritual community, which is really awesome and something I wasn't expecting when I moved down here.
Yes, I've noticed it's definitely grown. I think
Mhm.
even in the past like 5 to 8 years or so.
Mm.
We
And
had
now,
we had a Corey Heyman. I don't know if you know about the cocoa market.
Cacao?
No,
I
no.
actually did some
Different.
vendor events with her. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we had her on the podcast a couple months ago. So she started like a whole Delray like wellness market, and they have free yoga, ecstatic dance, like literally every massage. Like they have hundreds of vendors. So like Delray in particular is like when I moved there, I just felt like an energy about it as a really special place, and yeah, there's huge
Mhm.
communities
That's so
around
good
here.
to know.
So yeah,
Close to my home in Miami.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
I
amazing.
can,
Yes.
if you're into that, I'll share it with you more.
Sure I am,
I
yeah.
know a lot of things about that.
Now, Dr. Serena, you're
Yeah.
pretty new on the app, so I'm gonna ask you, how is your experience been so far? I think you've only been on here for like 2 weeks, right?
Yes. Yeah, just probably about has it been 2 weeks? Probably close enough. Close to, yeah. It's I've really been enjoying it. I mean, I think so. Interestingly, I was on Clubhouse for a few years, so this is where and so I actually wound up finding a woman on here that we quote unquote met off Clubhouse years ago.
Wow.
And then I recognized her through her picture and everything.
That's so cool.
awesome.
Yes. And yeah, so then it was great to reconnect with her, see how we can collaborate. But I will say overall, I've just found a lot of really great people on here. In the overall, I really like how I can also set my hours, just because I'm someone that I constantly leave my phone on silent. But this is kind of a time and place where I know, okay, here's where I could dedicate some headspace for networking.
Nice.
And then when I feel like there's some money involved, as you call people and they call you, all of a sudden it's, oh my God, you really can learn about someone in 10 minutes.
Yes.
Like it is a little bit of a challenge at first, but it is really nice to be able to know that, like, at that minimum, that's what you get. Okay, who do I need to know? Who do I really want to talk to? And so forth. So I think it's also made networking a lot more targeted as well.
I was gonna say
which can be helpful.
It feels like you can, like you said, a lot time, like hours every day to network. And if you just do like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes a day of networking over the course of a year, that's so much networking. That's very intentional, very targeted, which I'm all about that.
Got the personal touch as well, like not the DM that no one's going to look through, like having these conversations. You remember the conversations you had, you know, I don't always remember people's names, but I remember like things about them, you know, so their story, I guess.
I love that.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, we were talking about the 75-day hard challenge when you
Yes.
walked in. So what we did is, you know, we added, you have to do 1 phone call on Owwll per day outbound.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
So
Instead
it's
of the
actually
book
really cool.
pages, we
No
did
way.
the
So
yeah.
imagine like what would be the results if 75 days straight
huge.
you called a different person every day on Owwll.
Mhm.
Huge.
So we did that, and the results were phenomenal.
Yeah.
It seems like you were even just sharing like all the different people you've been
Mhm.
connecting with. I'm sure that
Mhm.
was a result of that. That's
Yeah.
so good. I loved adding that into that
But it's
challenge.
interesting. It's amazing how many people failed and couldn't do a call every day.
But
Like
it's
we think about
one
how much,
day.
like, as most people, if you said, "Do you check Instagram every day for
Yes.
10 minutes
Oh
per
yeah.
day?"
Oh,
They're like
I bet,
way
I
longer
bet
than
you
10.
you could take 75 of your friends, and
Yes.
probably the answer is going to be 65 out of 75 spend 10 minutes or more on Instagram,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
right? Maybe
More-
even be
Probably,
72
yeah.
out of 75, right? And the only 3
Right.
that missed, it's because they were somewhere with no cell signal,
Exactly.
right? But
Which never
but with
happens.
Owwll, it's interesting. They're like, "Oh, I just couldn't find in time that day." But what Dr. Serena just mentioned is like you set your office
You
hours, so you
schedule
can't
it.
really screw it up. If you set your office hours, then you're going to go live, you'll get a call. But not even that, the outbound side.
I love it.
What I do is every time I drive to this office, it's 30 minutes away.
Turn it on.
Every time I drive home, it's 30
Mhm.
minutes. But the opposite is outbound. You know, you will always be able to call someone if you just hit the call
Right.
button, right? And put yourself in an uncomfortable position to be like, okay, I got to call someone today. It's my networking time.
Oh,
But what does it do
totally.
to your business?
Gross.
It grows your
Mhm.
business, and it's
So
it's
good.
it's
Yep.
necessary to kind of just push yourself to make 1 call per day.
Well, let me tell all the people. I'm like, this is so easy compared to the networking that I was doing at 22 to
Yes.
25. Oh my God, it was
Mhm.
so painful. This is so much less painful. 1 call and you know what they're doing. They know
Yes.
who you are. All of
Yeah.
it. All of it. So good.
Yes, and the best part is if you're not
Well,
feeling it, you get out
and
of it.
what's
It's just 10
nice,
minutes.
right? I was gonna say what's nice too is that you also have the social media links as well,
Mhm.
because that way, yeah, we can again like do that minimum 10 minutes if we really want, or maybe that's just what we have time for in that moment. And great, I'll connect with you and learn more. Like I've definitely enjoyed, seeing some more followers and just
Yes.
more engagement as well, because then their material there is going to help me learn a little more about them as well.
Yes, that's so good. Oh wait, are we running?
Yeah, I think we're running out of
time.
time, but
Oh,
thank you so
yeah.
much. And we will post this. Well, we'll send you the clip
Yeah.
so you can listen to it later.
So much.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
See?
Okay.
I am obsessed. I'm so obsessed with this. Like, all of my dreams realized. I wish I would have had this when I was starting in business.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
I know. I can only imagine.
blown.
In the financial services,
I would have been a
I was spending
beast.
like $50, $100 a lead at times. And then
Oh.
the lead would go to like 7 people. They would say 3 people, but you're like, that's impossible. The person I called just said my phone won't stop ringing. Right. And then it goes like
That's
20
so
people. And
good.
you're like, no, but I'm better. I'm better. And you're like, you just feel like a dirty salesman.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I just remember doing so much of that. But with here, it's just like,
It's so
if you
accessible.
had $100 to spend, you could just go in here, and it's like most people are priced $1 to $10.
It's
Yeah.
Right?
honestly
They're on here
crazy.
networking. Like this guy, video production. You know, he's right here in Boca Raton.
I
and
saw
then-
him today on my app. When I opened it, I was like, he looks interesting.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I'm so glad we got to use it because
Yeah.
okay, I get it.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's our biggest challenge right now is like when you tell people about the app, they don't fully get it until they're using it. And
Yeah.
so, like, when we go to these events, like, there's a million people and I'm trying to show them and they're not always.
You have to. I feel like it's making it. It's like a LinkedIn, but you can.
Oh, that's
call
what
each
we
other.
say
It's
LinkedIn on
like-
crack.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
exactly.
LinkedIn on
It
steroids.
is.
It is.
Most people
Um,
eventually want to set up meetings
Yeah.
Yeah.
while on LinkedIn. Like,
Yes.
there's usually some purpose of the post, some
Especially
purpose
on
of the
LinkedIn.
But I would say
message.
majority of people, like, once they use it, they're hooked. It's
Yeah.
just getting them to actually use it. So, yeah.
Oh, I love it. Keep that outcome in mind. That's what will make you use it. I'm
Mhm.
stoked about this. Wow.
We should do some type of bet. Let's change things up with the guests. We haven't done this before.
Ooh, okay.
I sometimes sit
All
here
right.
What's the bet?
and I come up with things that I wish I didn't do, but let's do it, because you said that you were a network marketer and did 12,000, things, got no's, 10,000 no's,
conversations.
sales conversations. So let's put a number out there. If you hit it, you get something.
Ooh,
So
what do I do?
I don't know. We're gonna bet right now.
Okay. Okay.
How many
So,
people does she have to call on Owl
I know, that's what I'm
by
saying.
a certain time?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
Let's just keep it simple.
Well, let's keep it
7
simple.
days from now,
Yep.
you have to
I'm gonna
do.
have 2 events I'm speaking at in that time.
Okay,
But
perfect.
I can do it. I can do it. I make time.
Okay.
You're driving, right? After this, you're going to be in
Yes,
Orlando.
I will be driving
for
for
2
3
hours. So,
3
or 3 hours. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
I never lose, so
Ha ha ha.
don't challenge me too much, or I'll get too competitive.
Well, you happen to be here on November 11th
Here or
in Florida, November 11th.
no?
What do you mean?
I'm in LA. I'm speaking in
Shoot.
LA.
I'm part of the Ignite committee, so I
Oh.
was going to make you a bet to get you on a panel,
Oh,
but
well, I'll already
you
be
will not
speaking.
be here. So
Next time. I definitely
you-
would have done it
You
for
have
that.
to do more than in the next 7 days.
Mhm.
You have to make 10 calls on the app,
Okay.
and
I can
then
do that by the end of the day.
you have I know, and then take 10 calls. So 20,
Okay.
20 phone calls
Great.
in the next
Mhm.
7 days. Obviously, we could track the data behind the
Uh-huh.
scenes. And what did she get, Danielle? If she
Don't
get-
put it
if
on
she
me.
gets
Ooh, what
this,
do I
what's the bet?
get?
What does
Better
she
be-
get? What do you want? What do you?
Yeah.
You lay
Well,
the
for
terms.
that
That's the terms.
for that much time over the next 7 days when I'm already stacked, new car. No.
We're not Mary Kay over
We
here.
got
now.
Owl
Right.
T-shirts. We got Owl
Airbond.
hoodies.
Ooh,
We got.
What about
What
got a
else?
lot
Do you
of
want to
Celsius
host your own
beverage.
podcast
I
show
want
in
a
our
hoodie.
studio?
I want a hoodie.
Oh, you
We,
want a
I
hoodie?
like this. I like where you were going. We'll lend you the
So
studio.
we would lend you the studio, and you could do your own show of
Yeah, we'll
whatever
put-
you
we did this
wanted,
with TEDx
or your
LA.
company for prison. You could
We
do
will
your
give
own.
you this
yeah.
this studio to bring a guest in.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Do
And
your own
Cool.
episode of whatever
Deal.
you know.
so if you hit
Yeah.
the 20, you get to use this
Yeah.
studio.
Deal.
Our team will help you run that episode,
That's
Yeah.
a great
and
incentive.
you get to do
Free
it just like we're
content
doing.
and everything.
Yes.
Perfect. Deal.
Okay.
Make
Okay.
it
You
happen.
get her
You saw it
sister. The
here first,
studio is the
people.
deal. So she's got to get the 10 inbound calls.
You guys are
10 outbound
listening,
calls.
so
Yeah,
there
now
you
you can
go.
keep me accountable too.
The funniest thing is she get there and like within the ride home to Miami. pretty much.
Literally, you guys have
Yeah.
no idea. I'm a monster.
Then all we're asking is if you do win, just share the what happened from it. Share what
Yes.
opportunities on that episode where you have that guest in here. Is that a
Well,
deal?
here's the deal. It's a win-win-win-win for everyone.
yeah,
I
pretty
am
much.
Sure. It
really
pretty
gonna help
much
everyone.
is.
Yes, I'm in. I'm down.
All right.
Okay.
I can't wait.
Everybody listening, you heard it.
I'll be seeing you guys back here
And
in
then-
my
Soon.
studio.
Yeah, yeah.
That might be a new part of this episode. At the end of every episode, we make some type of
About
bet.
your studio.
Make
Oh,
some
I
type
like
of bet.
could be fun.
It's
Yes.
from the 50th anniversary.
We got to do
50th
something
episode.
special for episode 50.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
All right,
Okay.
Can't wait.
See you guys
Okay.
next week.
Everybody listening,
Bye.
we'll be back next Wednesday, our usual time around 5:00. Next week, we'll do the opposite. We'll do inbound calls. So go ahead. We're going to put it on the newsletter, our guest next week, and call in next week to the show.
And make sure you call her
Yes.
on Sydney Lich on the Owl
Call
app.
me, you guys. I gotta hit my numbers.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you all for listening. We'll be back next
Bye.
week. Peace.